Right, okay, so similar session to yesterday morning, not last night, similar session to yesterday morning. So Nick's kind of done this one, slight variations, but we're starting off sort of relatively easy. She says, I'm just trying to get my screen to show the right viewing. Hang on, I want to see you guys big and me small, but it's not having any of it. Oh, Andrea's cat's come to join us. Mine's been very quiet this morning. Right, okay, let's begin. All right, so coming down onto the mat, you're going to start off with wrist mobilization. So find a comfy spot. Wrist rolls, fingers clasped together. You roll one wrist on top of the other, almost a figure of 8 kind of action in one direction. And then in a moment, we'll switch directions. So trying to get as much flexion and extension through the wrist as you can, pushing one hand down on the other, but staying clear of any kind of nippy sore bits. And then reverse direction. I'm spending a lot of time on the hands when we're down on the floor, so we get the wrists warm. These are useful to do anyway, particularly if you spend a lot of time at a desk or anything like that. And we're going to take it into waves. So we've got elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow. So one elbow high. You want to work through the wrist, fingers, the opposite wrist, and then the opposite elbow. So elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow. Again, just pulling the wrists and the fingers into flexion and extension. And then the other way. So start at the other elbow and work through the hand and the wrists. Okay, give them a shake if they need it. And then coming onto all fours, you're going to bring your hands so that your fingertips turn backwards towards your knees. So bring the hands to the floor. I'll turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. So roughly in all fours, hands pointing backwards. You want to press the fingers down into the ground. And then as you rock backwards, you're going to feel a stretch into the wrist and the front of the arm, the forearm, and ease off. So back and forth. And then we're going to release, turn the hands around. So just coming into our rhomboid push-up. So we've got our shoulder blades coming together and then pushing the floor away to take the shoulder blades wide. So shoulder blades squeezing together, shoulder blades going wide. You want to keep that movement going, but we're just going to flip the hands over. So you might want to just sit back slightly because you're going to bring the hands so that the back of the hand is on the floor. The closer your hands are to your knees and the less pressure there's going to be on the wrists. So I'll turn slightly this way. So once you've got your hands in this position, again, press the fingertips down into the floor and then continue with your shoulder blade movement if you can. So it feels kind of weird doing it like this, but it's just a variation for your shoulder blades. So the hands and the wrists affect what your shoulder blades, your neck and stuff do. Nice and gentle with this one, especially at this time in the morning. Then very gently peel the hands away from the floor and give them a really gentle shake out, just loosening them off before we get going. All right, so yesterday we worked on bringing the shoulder blades together and pressing them wide, shoulder blades together, pressing them wide. So that's that action, forward and back, forward and back. We've just done that one on the floor. Today we're going to work on shoulder blades up and shoulder blades down, right? So the two sort of actions are linked together. So starting off on all fours, actual all fours, not a beast position, actual all fours. Tucking the toes under. I'm just trying to think of the best view for you guys. It might actually be that. So don't worry about your legs going straight. It's not technically not a hamstring stretch, okay? All you want to do is take your bottom into the air. So I'm going to lift the bottom up and I'm pushing forward with the hands to take my chest towards my thighs so that my head finishes up between my arms. So neck's nice and relaxed. And then from there, you want to push into the floor like you're shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears. So you want to try and close the gap. So I'm going to turn around this way, just in case you need to see. So we've got there just normal shoulder blades. And then I'm going to push the floor away and shrug my shoulders as far up towards my ears as I can. And then if you like, it's a de-shrug. Shrug, de-shrug. Shrug and de-shrug. So when we get to the top of, for instance, a scorpion switch or something like that, we want to be really pushing the floor away to get a really active shoulder. And it might sound a little bit kind of counterintuitive to be shrugging the shoulders up to the ears, when usually we want to kind of keep the shoulders away from the ears, but we also want to be strong in this position as well. So we shrug and release, shrug and release. Last one, and then bend the knees and come back down to the mat. So essentially you've got this action, yeah? You're shrugging and releasing, but because your hands are on the floor and your bum's in the air, you're building strength in that position. I'm going to do it again. We're going to do 10 more, and then we're going to hold it at the end for a static hold. So same thing, I'm going to stay facing you guys just so you can see my shoulder blades. Otherwise, starting all fours, lift your bottom up, knees can be bent, push the chest back towards the thighs so that your head's between your arms. And if you want to load this a little bit more, you can walk the feet in until you're sort of more over your wrists, if you like. So you've got choices as to where to be, and then shrug and de-shrug, or shrug and relax, whichever makes sense in your brain. Shrug and relax, shrug and relax. Keep going, 5 more. Last 3, last 2, and last one. And you're going to shrug and just hold. So see how close you can get your shoulders to your ears. I'm going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, and then lower the knees back down and just give everything a wiggle just to kind of release that tension that we've built up. So that's your shrugging action. The next one we're going to do is that de-shrug action, or the pulling the shoulders down. So we use this for crab particularly. So if we set a crab, we've got this action of pushing the shoulder blades down in order to get your bottom off the floor, all right? So just as a drill to start building some strength there, we're going to come to an L-sit. So legs straight out in front, the hands are going to be just at either side of the hip. I'm hoping you can see that, but fingertips pointing out to the side, yeah? So it's actually quite hard. If I push down here, you won't be able to really see that I've lifted my hips off the floor. If you need to bend your legs slightly, that's okay too, but you want to see if you can get into an L-sit position. So we've typically got very limited mobility of the shoulder blades, and we want to kind of build more and build strength there. So, you know, try and lift your hips up off the floor by pushing the shoulders down. And we're just going to hold here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release back down. So even for me, I can get my hips up, but I can still feel that the back of my pants are in contact with the floor. And as I hold, I can tell I'm sinking because I can feel more floor, more floor, more floor, more floor. So if you're like me, you want to keep trying to get back up to where you started from. So all that being said, here we go again. I'm going to lift the hips up off the floor. And we're going to hold.
Did Amber stay with you?
She's still up there, yeah.
Was she?
Andrew, we can hear you chatting, which is fine, but just don't say anything you don't want anybody to hear. 3, 2, 1. and release back down. Give it a wiggle if you need to. You're going to do one more set. Here we go. Pick up the hips. Hold, 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 breathe. Try not to sink. I can feel my bottom getting heavier on the floor. Last 3, last 2, last 1, and release back down. Same thing, give your hands a little bit of a wiggle and a shake. And we've got one more shoulder mobility drill today. Last time when I was with you, we kind of focused more on hips. I'm having a bit of a shoulder month. So yes, that's what it's about. So we're going to come down onto your front. Feet could be about hip distance. Not too worried about what the feet are up to. And we're going to bring the hands out overhead. So thumbs pointing towards the ceiling. So you're going to lift the arms up here. So you're going to lift both arms up as high as they'll go, thumbs pointing to the ceiling. And then we're going to swim them down by your side. But as they come, so they're going to come out to the side, thumbs are staying up. As they get to shoulder level, you're going to start to rotate the arms, thumbs down, as far around as you can. And then they finish up, sort of, I don't know, what would you call this? I call this like a fighter jet position. And then we're going to swim them back again. So they come back to about shoulder level, start to turn over, thumbs turn up as you finish up overhead. Kind of nose pointing towards the floor. You can have your forehead resting or in line. I prefer it in line. Go again. So we're swimming. We're trying to lift them as well, as high as we can. Turn thumbs around, all the way around. So your thumbs might be pointing to the ceiling, but in the other direction as you finish. Same again, we'll swim them back round, turning the arms as we go. So we finish up with thumbs up towards the ceiling. And again. So just working through, it doesn't really matter when you turn the arms over. Just rotating as you go. Couple more. And swimming all the way back to the start. And then release down. Oh, why does my nose always start itching as soon as I start doing stuff like that, where it knows I can't itch my nose? Okay. Right, so coming into our crab position, I'll do some activations here. So set a nice crab. We'll set it up properly this time. So hands, yes, hands shoulder distance apart, feet hip distance apart. Nice proud chest. So I'm pulling the shoulder blades back, lifting the chest and the chin. And you're going to slide your bottom all the way down to your heels, and then all the way back to your hands. So I'm picking my hips up slightly by the same action of pushing my hands into the floor to slide, and then pushing my hands in the floor to slide back. This time we're going to add in a slight elbow bend. So as you slide the hips towards your feet, you're going to bend the elbows, and you'll feel a stretch into your shoulders to a certain extent, but you'll have collapsed your chest to do it. So once you're here, keep the elbows bent, lift your chest up, pull your shoulder blades closer together, and you should feel more of a stretch into the front of the shoulder. Yeah. And then we go back, straightening the elbows. So taking your bottom back towards your hands. So same again, you shift the hips forward, bending the elbows. You realize that you kind of collapsed your chest a little bit. So you lift the chest up, squeeze the shoulder blades together even more. And find that big stretch down the front of the shoulder. And then we release out of it, shift back. One more time. Shift forward. Bend the elbows, sort your chest out, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Your nice proud chest gives you that big stretch into the front of the shoulders. Also pins and needles in my right hand. And then we shift back and release, and you give your hands a little bit of a shake again. Right then. So building the elements to the floor, the only thing I'm going to change is the first section, which is ape. But for that, on that basis, we're going to start with our unload. So we're going to set beast. We did this last night. It's just the way of getting from beast to loaded beast and back again. So we're going to start with that. So we're going to set beast, usual story, coming down onto all fours. hands under shoulders, shoulder distance apart. You bring your knees under your belly button line. Yeah, so I call this a short base. You can see how short it is. Toes are tucked under, push the shoulder blades nice and wide. And then from there, when you're ready, we're going to hover the knees off the floor just 1 inch. So activate your beast. So here we are with the knees hovered off the floor. And we're going to hold and breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then release down. So we're going to go from beast to loaded beast. Okay, so pick the knees up again. You can do this with your knees down, by the way, but we're going to try it with the knees up. So we're going to go to loaded beast. So you want to take your hips back to your heels, but then check in with your knees. They still want to be 1 inch off the floor. The knees flare wide, slightly wider than hips. And then you're going to walk the hands away as far as you can. Eventually, we want to aim to get the chest as close to the floor as we can, but it requires a lot of strength in the chest. So that's us in loaded beast. To come back to beast, we do the opposite. The hips come forward, so the shoulders come back over the wrists, and then we walk the knees into that inch off the floor under the belly button line. So you're back to your beast position, and then you can rest the knees down. So we're going to do that again. So we set our perfect beast. I'm just trying to get sideways on so you can see what I'm doing. Knees roughly under belly button line. Activate your beast by lifting the knees 1 inch off the floor. We go to loaded beast by shifting the bottom back to the heels, the knees flaring wide, and the hands walking away. You can rest your knees if you need to. Otherwise, we go into beast. So we set active beast. So shoulders come over wrists, and then we walk the feet back under the belly button, or walk the feet so that the knees finish up back under the belly button level, and then you rest the knees down. Yeah. So that's just how you get from beast to loaded beast in a more controlled fashion. We're going to go beast to loaded beast, and then we're going to do our unload. So here we go. Set beast. I'm going to turn sideways on again so you can see. So knees are belly button lines. You've got that short base. We hover the knees 1 inch off the floor. Set loaded beast. Hips shift back. Knees go wide. Hands walk away. That's your loaded beast. We're going to unload. So knees stay 1 inch off the floor. Chin stays tucked. Tail stays tucked. You're coming straight out. Knees are still bent. They're just off the floor. You want to squeeze the glutes and see if you could push further into it, just taking your shoulders a little bit past your wrist line. There should be a lot of work in the core. You're trying to pull your pubic bone up to your nose. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then we reload our loaded beast. So we come back to our loaded beast position, and you can rest your knees down there just briefly before we go again. So active loaded beast, you're going to hover the knees 1 inch off the floor. Unload, you come straight forward, keeping the chin tucked, the tail tucked, knees 1 inch off the floor. Squeeze the glutes, push the floor away. Really want to protract your shoulder blades, get them wide. Hold and breathe. 3, 2, 1, and return to loaded beast. Knees flaring wide, and release the knees down. You've got one more to do. Hover the knees, unload, chin tucked to chest, tail tucked under, knees low. Take it out there and hold, squeeze the glutes, push the floor away. See if you can get your shoulder blades any wider. For 3, 2, 1, and return to loaded beast. From there, we're going to return to static beast. So we bring the shoulders over the wrists, and then we walk the feet in, knees 1 inch off the floor, and lower down. Your knees are picking up slightly higher because it makes it easier. You're not quite, things are a little bit tricky. That's okay. Yeah, they're a little bit higher. You're aiming to get them down to 1 inch off the floor. Wrist relief position if you need it. Backs of the hands together, elbows pulling down. Or for me, it's more about shaking them. The shaking seems to take the pressure off my hands and wrists. Okay, all right, so that's our unload. Good old unload. I'm going to come into our ape for this morning. So we did traveling ape yesterday twice. So I'm going to skip traveling ape today, and we're going to do ape reach and ape open. Technically, I suppose it's slightly harder. So we're going to find our best deep ape or our best deep squat, whatever that means for you. But you want to be in a position where your hips are as low as they can be and your heels are down as best as they can be. Here's what it is, right? So for a lot of us, being in this squat position is not the easiest position or the comfiest position to be in. So if you need to wiggle about like I'm doing, and I'm just switching from foot to foot, which just makes it a little bit easier for me to find that space in my hips to sit in the bottom of this squat. The other thing that I kind of do as well, which seems to help me, takes pressure off my knees, is I push out with my elbows. So I'm pushing my knees out with my elbows, which helps me keep my arches lifted. Whereas if I let go, I kind of collapse inwards a little bit still. I just don't quite have the strength to stay out there yet. And it puts a lot of pressure on this knee. I'm talking about me, but you might be the same. So for me, just pressing out slightly with my elbows and shifting about in the bottom of this position, it helps me open my hips, but it keeps my knees a little bit more happy than they would be otherwise. So all we're doing here, we're mobilizing into the hips by shifting about. There's no right or wrong, there's no special position that you need to be in. You're just exploring. I'm kind of playing with my foot position. I'm trying to turn my feet in slightly, because for me to be at the bottom of a squat, my feet turn out quite a lot. But for here, I could kind of play with sort of how close they come in. And then I'm going to try and lift my chest up as well. So I'll see if I can get some mobility into my upper back. And I'm going to be here for a couple more seconds. And then we're just going to release out of it. So just come down to the floor and have a little bit of wiggle from the hips side to side if you wish, before we come into the stretch. So we're going to be in the bottom of that deep ape. We've got ape reach, which is backs the hands together. And then we've got the open, which is opening the hands to the side and coming onto the toes. It's a little bit of a balance thing with this. This is usually where I fall over on the first one. So you can always have a giggle at that. All right, so we're coming back to our deep ape. We're not going to be here very long because it's going to come into the flow anyway. So find the best deep squat that you can. Okay, so ape reach, the backs of the hands come together, and it's these two fingers that I'm reaching towards the floor, and I'm really trying to reach the hands as the head drops between the arms. So it's almost like I'm folding in on myself. So everything's rounded. That's that ape reach. To open, the heels come off the floor. The arms stay straight. They just turn over and reach to the sides of the room. So I'm chest up as best I can, reaching to the sides of the room, and I'm trying to lift up out of my heels. And they're going to return to ape reach by bringing the backs of the hands together, index finger and thumb reaching towards the floor, heels sinking. And I'm back to my ape reach, head between the arms. And then I'm going to just return to deep ape, which just means releasing the hands and you're back to the bottom of your squat. That's your deep ape again. So we've got ape reach, ape open, and just ape. Yeah. And then you can release out of that and breathe a sigh of relief if you're like me, where it's like, oh God, my hips, my knees go. Oh. But if it hadn't been for animal flow, I wouldn't have a squat at all. So before I started animal flow, I couldn't get to the bottom of a squat at all. So although I think it looks really ugly, mine, not yours, I'm there, which is absolutely brilliant. So it's a journey, not a destination. It will look less ugly as time goes by. Right, so we're going to do the same drill as we did yesterday, jumping under switch drill. So two versions of jumping under switch. The slow controlled, I'm going to call it the regressed version, beginner's version, if you like, and then the full one. And the idea behind it is it teaches you about how to slow your body down. So we've got speed and then control as well. So let's start off in crab. So jumping under switch from crab is going to take us back to a crab. We're going to do it nice and slow to start with. So Set crab, hips off the floor, proud chest, chin up. I'm going to left leg jumping under switch, regressed version. So left foot off the floor, right hand off the floor. Pick up the heel. You're going to come through to modified beast. And modified beast is just a three-legged beast. So my left foot is still off the floor. Switch the feet. So the right foot is off the floor. And then go through the window to finish that movement back in crab. Same on the right side. So if I go right leg jumping under switch, regressed version, right foot off, left hand off, lift the heel, we go under, the foot is off the floor, I switch feet, and then I continue under, back to crab. Yeah, so this is your regressed version, yeah? So we'll do it again. Left leg jumping under switch, regress. So left foot off the floor, right hand off the floor. The left leg travels under. Your left foot stays off the floor. Then you switch. Right leg travels under to finish the movement in crab. Same on the other side. Right leg jumping under switch, regress version. Right foot off, left hand off. Travel under. Right foot stays off the floor. Switch. Travel under to finish the movement in crab. Marvelous, right. Okay, so that's your regress version. Yeah, the slow, controlled, build some strength version. And then we've got the powerful move, the full version. So you're going to jump from a flat foot. So it looks like this. So if I'm doing left leg jumping under switch, still do the same thing in that left foot comes off, right hand goes out to the side this time because I'm going to use that to fling me over. But otherwise, it's the same thing. So as I jump, switch legs. So I can continue that movement into crab. Yeah, if I do it from the back, land in that three-legged beast, but with the opposite foot off and continue through. It's exactly the same as what you've just done, more or less. You're jumping from the flat foot position. It's just the speed that's different. You've got to really use that, what we call a rotary arm, to give you the oomph to get over. But if you're still working on the first bit, that's okay too. That looks pretty good. Those of you having a play, and feel free to play with it. So I'll be here with you doing it as well. So try both directions. So left, we jump that three-legged beast, continue through the window. We're doing right leg, jump, continue through the window. Very good. So there can be a tendency when you add in the speed to skip the break in the middle, right? So it can look a little bit like, and as you can see, I have no control over my speed, right? So you've still got to land and really hit this three-legged beast position before you go through. So it looks like quick, controlled, as opposed to out of control. That's what makes it kind of tricky. Oh, looking good, looking good, looking good. Okay, and rest for a moment, because we're going to go through these. So what we're going to do, we're going to go left leg, jumping under switch, the regressed version, so the slow control version that we just did, then right leg. Then we're going to do left leg full version, right leg full version. It's exactly what we did yesterday, Nick. So, but it's useful for teaching your body about energy changes, so speed and stuff like that. And plus, they're just nice. I like jumping under switches. They're good. All right, so we set crab. We go left leg jumping under switch, the regressed version. So left foot off, right hand off. It's just basically an under switch to a three-legged beast. Switch the legs and then continue through the window to crab. Right leg jumping under switch, regressed version. Right foot off, left hand off. Under, switch, under to finish. When you hit crab, make sure it's a nice pride crab. So left leg jumping under switch, the full version. Left foot off, right hand off. We jump from here. Land in your three-legged beast. And then continue to crab. Right leg jumping under switch, full version, all the way over to crab. Yeah, you've cracked it, well done. Then left leg jumping under switch, regressed version. So the slow one, switching legs in the middle. Nice. All the way over to crab. Right leg jumping under switch, regressed version. Very good. Last set, left leg jumping under switch, full one. Give it some welly. Hey, these are looking good. And last one, the other side, right leg jumping under switch. Good control. Nicely done. And rest. Well done. Yeah, good control. No problem with that. So we're going to get into the floor. The only things that are extra on this are the front step, which we've done loads of. We'll come to that as we get into it. Apart from Nick, this is a level 2 movement. So Nick was in session yesterday. So we've got a level 2 movement to learn. It's not particularly tricky. I'm saying that. You never know, do you? You just never know what's tricky to some people and what isn't. It's called a reaching under switch. So we are going to start in ape for this little floor. It's only a little floor. We're going to be in ape. We've got to get from ape to crab. All right. So it looks like this. I'm in the bottom of my ape position. And if I want to do, say, a right leg reaching under switch to crab, I need to lift my brakes off. So I've come up onto my toes. It's one of those rare moments where it's the arm and leg are the same. So it's a right leg reaching under switch. So my right arm is going to reach across my body. I'm going to fall onto that outstretched arm with a big enough window between my foot and my hand to be able to bring my leg through and finish up in crab. So if I take that back to beast, or in fact, ape, sorry, and I'll turn this way so you can see. So I'm going to do a left arm. So left arm reaches across, heels are coming up to take the brakes off. Left arm reaches across the body. I fall onto that hand. Continue through the window. So you finish up in crab. You might need to do a little bit of jiggery pokery with your hands and feet to kind of just finish off your crab, and that's okay. Yeah. So return to ape. Lift the brakes. Left arm reaches right across the body, 45 degrees. The back arm is strong and reaching away. I'm falling onto that hand. And I continue through the window to finish in crab. Again from the other side. Left arm reaches across. Left leg travels through. And I'm into crab. Yeah, that's it. You've got it, well done. All okay with that? Give me a thumbs up, more or less. Brain intact. Okay, let's do it then. All right, so we've got ape, reach and open. I'm going to do a reaching under switch into crab. And then we'll do jumping under switches. We go from under switch into a loaded beast, or beast into a loaded beast. Front steps, and then we'll reset our ape. So it's not particularly complicated. It's all stuff, apart from that, it's all stuff that you've actually done before. So let's set ape. Yeah. So we've got our deep ape, whatever that means for us this morning. And once we're there, we're going to go ape reach. So backs of the hands together, index finger and thumb towards the floor, folding in. Open, heels up, arms straight, turn them over, out to the side, chest up. Return to ape reach, fold back in. And then from there we set ape. Now all that means is just release that reach position. So we're going to go left leg reaching under switch. So we lift the heels, we reach the left arm across the body as far as we can. We fall forward onto it and we swing that left leg through. So we're in crab. From there, left leg jumping under switch, just as we've been doing. You've got the regress version or the full version, but you're going to finish up in crab. Right leg jumping under switch, exactly the same, just in the opposite direction. You'll finish up in crab. Left leg under switch will take you to beast. Left leg under switch will finish you up in beast. From there, just turn in so you can see, we go into our loaded beast. So remember, the hips go back, knees go wide. We walk the hands away as far as we can at this moment in time. From there, we've got left leg front step. So as you step forward, the left hand comes off the floor. Big step. Land with a boom. Pull the elbow back. Return to loaded beast. Hand comes down, foot comes back. Load your beast. Right leg front step. Boom. Pull the elbow back, attack position with the hand. Return to loaded beast. Set beast. So hips come forward. Walk the feet in so the knees are an inch off the floor. And then you've got your rest. Well-deserved rest there. So it's just a little flow. That's all it is. So I'm going to go through it again. Not so much quicker, but I won't talk as much. We'll just call the movements out. Everybody okay? Yes, yes. But delayed actions there, I get that. It is early, isn't it? It's like, everybody okay? And it's like, oh, let me know, I have to think about that. Oh, probably, I'm all right. Right, so set up, here we go. We'll work from the other side this time. So set your deep ape reach, back to the hands together, folding in. Open, heels up. 2 pizzas on the palms, reaching out to the side, chest up. Return to ape reach. Set ape. Right leg reaching under switch this time. All right, so right arm reaches across the body. You've got to lift the heels up, fall onto the hand, swing the right leg through. So you should be in crab. Right leg jumping under switch will take you all the way through to crab again. Left leg jumping under switch. It will take you all the way over to crab again. Right leg under switch will take you to beast. Load your beast. Hips back, knees wide, walk the hands away. Right leg front step, big step, elbow pulling back. Return to loaded beast. Left leg front step. Return to loaded beast. Set beast. Shoulders come over wrists. Walk the feet in. Feel the agony in your knees. And then lower down. It's actually like my quads are going, oh my God, oh my God. Especially that last bit. This next time, I'm going to do it twice without a rest. I'm going to just lead with the left side and then I'll lead with the right side. Without a rest in between. Oh, so that means, just out of interest, once we get to this, we're going to finish in beast, as we just have. And instead of getting you to put your knees down, I'm going to go set ape. So from beast, all you have to do is push back into your ape position. You'll see what I did with my feet there. Because my feet are shoulder distance apart or hip distance apart, I need them to be wider. As I push back, I open my feet up. Yeah, because that's just me. That's how wide I need to be for the bottom of my squat. Essentially what you do, you push back, work your feet out. Other than that, we need to start an ape, don't we? So we're here. All right, so set deep ape. When we're here, chest up as best we can. And then we fold in. So ape reach, back to the hands together, fingers reach into the floor, fold in. Open, heels up, 2 pizzas, don't fall over. Return to ape reach, fold in. Set ape. Left leg reaching under switch. So reach the left arm across, fall onto it, swing the left leg through to crab. Left leg jumping under switch. We'll take you all the way over to crab. Right leg jumping under switch. will take you all the way through to crab. Left leg under switch will take you to beast. Load your beast. Hips back, knees wide, hook the hands away. Left leg front step. Hand replaces foot. Attack position with the hand. Return to loaded beast. Right leg front step. Foot replaces hand. Return to loaded beast. Set beast. Shoulders over wrists. Walk the feet in. Set ape. Push back into the bottom of your ape position. Well done. Yeah, very good. Fold in, ape reach. Open, heels up, arms out. Return to ape reach. Set ape. Right leg reaching under switch. So heels up, right arm reaches across. We fall onto that hand. Swing the right leg through, you come to crab. Just giving myself a little bit of space, wiggling forward. Right leg jumping under switch. It will take you all the way over to crab. Left leg jumping under switch. All the way over to crab, or under to crab, I should say. Right leg under switch will bring you to beast. Set loaded beast. Hips go back, knees go wide, arms walk away. Right leg front step, foot replaces hand. Return to loaded beast. Fling your leg forward, left leg front step, land like an elephant. Return to loaded beast, set beast. So shoulders over wrists, walk the feet forward, and rest. Oh. Andrea, have you missed me? Head in hands like, oh my God. We're
Wow.
done, I'm afraid. I've got another session. I want to see if we could get 2 goes of that in. How did we do? Were we all okay? Andrea? Quads? Yep, quads.
East.
Deb, where did you feel it? Are you nodding for quads as well?
Yeah, I teach body pump on a Thursday night, so I'm definitely in the quads. So yeah, not good.
Oh dear, good, I'm glad. Claire, how do you feel? Because she did yesterday as well. So how was that?
It was all right, yeah. Yeah, I've got plantar fasciitis at the minute, so I'm like,
Oh, you
everything is my
haven't?
foot.
Oh, Claire, we probably need to have a chat. Message me. Let's get a Zoom call booked in. Plantar fasciitis is my thing. So if you genuinely, if you want to just have a chin wag, and I
Claire,
can kind of throw some.
I'm just coming out of it. Honestly, it will go. Literally, I'm just coming out of it. I'm back running.
I'm managing to run. It's not that bad. I've had it before where it was bad, but this time it's not as bad. So I'm just.
Are you managing it? Got a load of stuff
Yeah.
to do to manage it.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yes.
As long as you're happy.
Next Monday. So.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to disappear, chaps. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you. I think it's Tuesday next week. I think you've got your times. Everybody's booked in, so you know we'll see you when I see you.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.